This is the Precision Matthews PM-1660TL. We've been using this machine for 4 years now. So in this video, I want to give you an update after 4 years of using the machine and also go over specs, feeds and speeds, do a live demo, and talk about how this lathe compares to our other lathes. Hey guys, Gavin Gear here from UltimateReloader.com. That's right, this lathe is absolutely amazing. The PM-1660TL is my go-to lathe for ultra precision and big work. It's got a lot of features and functionality and inherent quality and precision that make it my go-to lathe when things really matter. And we've already published a story about the arrival of the lathe, the offload, the cleanup, and I even talked with master gunsmith Gordy Gritters, and he and I both ran the machine and gave a demo. So you're going to want to check out that video if you haven't already with regard to our experiences with this machine. Before we get into the details on this lathe, let me just set the lay of the land with regard to the lathes that we have in the shop. From Precision Matthews, we have lathes in ascending order. First, the PM-1340 GT. This is an all Taiwanese made. In fact, all of our lathes are all Taiwanese made and all of them have Japanese spindle bearings. I'll just say that's one consistent thread across the board. Each of these lathes has a special place in the shop and has reasons for using it over the others, which is kind of interesting. So the 1340 GT is a great high quality ultra precision lathe that is smaller in size and is less expensive. It's a real joy to chamber with. We've got multiple videos, including the setup, including setting it up as a gunsmithing lathe, and multiple rifle builds showing the PM-1340 GT. Then we have the first lathe I actually got from Precision Matthews, which is the PM-1440 GT. This lathe steps it up to 14-inch swings and is really a great all-rounder. A little bit lower in price is gearhead. It doesn't have the variable speed that the HVT2 has, but it has all the precision you're going to need to do things like general machining, gunsmithing work, rifle barrel work, all of those things. And it does have a lower price point compared to our next lathe up, which is the PM-1440 HVT2. Really nice to have that variable speed, which is a lot like the 1440 GT, but it has a wider bed. It has a cast iron base option, and it has variable speed. So general purpose, day in and day out, I tend to use that machine a lot because of the variable speed. It's really, really nice. If I have a really short rifle barrel to work with, I'll look at the 1440 GT, which is about 1.5 inches shorter, total reach capable. And then the 1340 GT is even more capable, right? So this is where I get into the fact that we have multiple machines in the shop, each as a go-to for certain types of activities. It's nice having the two 1440 lathes back to back at my main shop because I can keep one set up with a collet system or a 3-jaw chuck for general work and then do a 4-jaw on the other lathe and have it set up for muzzle threading and for chambering and things like that. But I do both types of work on both of those machines. Okay, so we have the 1340 GT, the 1440 GT, we have the 1440 HVT2, and then we step up to the PM-1660TL. This is a whole different category of machine. It is bigger, it's heavier, it has more capacity, it has more fine finesse with the controls, it has additional features like the one-shot lube and the auto reverse that you can hit on the machine for the power feeds while it's running. This is the next level of machine. And why do I need such a big heavy machine for gunsmithing? Well, it's kind of like a tow vehicle. If you're going to tow a big trailer, you can't have too big of a truck. You can certainly have too small of a truck, but you can't have too big of a truck. And when it comes to precision machining, really where that comes in handy is the stability of the machine and its anti-vibration capabilities. The more mass you have, the lower the natural frequencies are going to be for the various aspects of machining with it, and the less chatter, the less surface finish issues that you're going to have, and it's just a more solid setup. And so while I can do precision rifle gunsmithing on any of the machines, especially for the bigger work, I really enjoy using the PM-1660TL for those kinds of things. So Projects that we've completed with the PM-1660TL. We've definitely done a lot of rifle builds. We've done special fixtures, adapters, and specialty machining for around the shop. I've done some for automotive. We've done some for scientific testing. We do a lot of that type of work to adapt different things. I've also made accessories for the lathe, on the lathe, which is a pretty standard thing. I've done a lot of muzzle threading because I have a 6-jaw setup for this, and that allows us to even clamp onto pistol barrels and not have to support the other end. So that's really handy. And then, especially on the rifle build side, the ELR builds. So these builds will have something like a 2-inch diameter barrel blank. Yes, that is a major piece of steel. And some of those are going to be in the 40-inch range in length. So this lathe has gotten a lot of use. Okay, so let's go over specs. So this is just high-level specs. There's a ton more info on the Precision Matthews website. And when you go to the landing page for the PM-1660TL, you'll notice that it is offered as a triad of different configurations. There is the PM-1440TL, the PM-1640TL, which is actually a really great sweet spot for precision rifle. This has 60 inches between centers. The PM-1640TL is the same exact lathe, but shortened so that it has 40 inches between centers. It'll help save you a lot on shipping. So if you want this lathe for rifle barrel work, definitely also consider the PM-1640TL. And then we have the 1660TL, which is here. These are all based on the same basic design and mechanics. 1440TL is $16,999. 1640TL is $18,499, and the 1660TL is $19,999, so basically $20,000. Those are the prices as of the filming of this video, which is October 25. They are subject to change, but it gives you a baseline idea of what you would need to pay. Now, you're also going to want to go to the Precision Matthews website and look at the availability, because these machines get sold really quick, and sometimes there is a bit of a wait time, so you're going to want to not wait and get your order submitted if you want to have it in time for your projects, right? Okay, so TL1660, 16-inch swing, so that's over the bed. That's the cylindrical object that you could revolve if you pushed it to the max, but of course the carriage gets in the way if you're going to actually cut something. That's the standard capacity, and then 60 inches between centers usable. We've got a 5 horsepower, 3-phase motor. I'm using a Phase Technologies Phase Perfect. That's the 10 horsepower model for this particular setup. It is absolutely awesome. You're going to want to check out our video where we compare it against rotary phase converters. Better spool up, more compact design. I'll mention it again at the end of the video. Okay, so 5 horsepower, 3-phase. 3-phase is going to give you better surface finish. Less torque ripple, super smooth, really great startup performance. We've got 8.75 inches of cross slide travel. We've got 4.94 inches of compound travel. The tailstock is Morse taper number 4 and has 4.94 inches travel, almost 5 inches. That's definitely beyond what all of our other lathes have. Thread ranges are going to be 45 pitches in English from 2 threads per inch to 72 threads per inch. In metric, you have 39 pitches available, 0.2 millimeters to 14 millimeters. I will note, one of the main reasons I use this lathe for metric threading jobs is the fact that I can shift gears into the metric thread pitches. Most smaller lathes, most more inexpensive lathes are going to involve gear swaps. Taking off the headstock, side cover, swapping some gears to get into the appropriate gearing configuration for those metric threading operations. This lathe has an English lead screw, so for all English threading, we can just engage the half nut to take another pass. If we're threading in metric, it's not going to line up when we use the half nut lever. So what I do is I Velcro the half nut lever down, I leave it engaged, I take my threading pass, I stop the machine, I withdraw the tool, I put it in reverse, and rinse and repeat. It's not that big of a deal, but it is really nice. Just know that some lathes have metric lead screws, and that means that you wouldn't be able to do the faster, more convenient threading for English threads, which here in the United States is the standard. And also internationally, there's a lot of muzzle threads that are used that are 5/8 24, 3/4 24, half 28. you know, those sorts of things. Okay, so lots of threading options, really easy and convenient to use that functionality. It's got a D16 cam lock spindle, which is the standard for the larger lathes. A lot of great chuck options available for that. It's got 2.55-inch through spindle capacity. It's got a reducer where you can run the Morse taper number 4 in the headstock. I'll get into accessories, but it comes with a headstock and tailstock dead center. Weight is 4,500 pounds, and again, the weight matters. The heavier the lathe, the more rock solid it's going to be. The better surface finish, the better precision. And the country of origin is Taiwan, but it does have the Japanese spindle bearings. So here's an overview of tooling and what's included with the lathe. So we've got a high precision 9-inch 3-jaw chuck. This guy, it is heavy, it is massive, it is awesome. Really, really good quality on that. LED work light, which you would expect in this day and age. Cast iron leveling pads are great for getting the machine into position and getting it leveled. It gives those leveling screws something to positively engage with. Complete cast iron base. Again, it's a part of the massive weight of the machine. High precision spindle bearings. We'll get to the numbers on that. Absolutely amazing. Highest level of precision we've seen. Backsplash guard. The reducing sleeve for the headstock center. And again, the internal taper on that is Morse taper number 4. We've got a 4-way tool post. Headstock dead center, tailstock dead center, thread chasing dial, feed rod clutch, which is a great safety mechanism, steady rest, a follow rest, coolant system, foot brake, and 5-year warranty. This thing comes really, really well equipped from the factory. Okay, and then there's the tooling and accessories that I've added. I'm not going to go through an exhaustive list here, but the highlights would be a 4-jaw chuck, and that was from Precision Matthews. Cross slide stop system that I designed, and that's just for threading to give the cross slide something positive to engage with and to quickly bump against your 0 position for X. A complete pressure flush system. I've got a story that goes into some detail on that, basically involving a completely separate oil system and a pan under the chambering reamer where it basically recirculates, filters, and allows you to cut rifle chambers really quickly compared to using manual plunges and cleaning the reamer, that kind of thing. I designed and built an outboard spider that threads into the internal threads on the spindle, which it has on the outboard side, which is really convenient. We've got a tailstock DRO that I designed here that has a clamping collar and a Meditoyo scale, a 6-inch scale for that, which is really great for drilling, for reaming, and for anything where you need precise indication of depth and easy zeroing for using the tailstock. We've got an Aloris CXA sized quick change tool post. I bought the complete deluxe set, so I have a bunch of the holders for that as well. And I also ordered the machine with the MagExact DRO from Precision Matthews, which is amazing. We get 1/10,000th of an inch on diameter, and that level of precision is highly satisfying. So let's talk 3-phase power. Bigger machines like this are going to require 3-phase power. It's a better way to power a machine. The motors run smoother, they last longer. But if you don't have it at your shop, you're going to need to think about a conversion technology. And we have multiple videos that go into that. We did a whole series recently with Phase Technologies talking about the different types of converters, static, rotary, digital, those sorts of things. And we settled on digital for both of our shops. So up here at the mountain shop, we're running the PT010, which will run 10 horsepower. This is 5 horsepower. We may go up to 10 horsepower in the wood shop, but it's really clean power. It'll improve your startup performance and really, really rock solid technology. So you're going to want to check out those stories if you're curious about the Phase Perfect converters. So let's talk precision. We run a couple tests to just verify the quality of the lathe and how well it's put together. The first is the spindle runout test. So what I did was I took a Meditoyo indicator at reading in 1/10,000th of an inch per division per hash mark on the dial, spun the spindle from the outboard side, not applying any pressure to it, whatever, and we saw no movement on the needle, just the slightest fluctuation from some nicks and surface finish inside. Basically, way less than 1/10,000th of an inch. I'm calling that 0. The spindle is absolutely perfect on this machine, and if you don't have a perfect spindle, you're doing really ultra precision work, you don't have much to go on there. The other really critical test that we like to run, because it relates to the gunsmithing setups that we run, is the tailstock quill alignment. If your tailstock quill is not aligned with the headstock, with the spindle, then you're in trouble. So we basically dragged the same 1/10,000th indicator across the side of the quill and across the top of the quill. So on the horizontal, over 5 inches of sweep, we had 1/10,000th of an inch of deviation. That is crazy, but it got even crazier when we swept across the top, because over 5 inches, there was basically zero movement in the needle. So the tailstock quill on this is absolutely perfect. This machine lives up to the name Ultra Precision. Okay, so let's take a tour of the machine. I'm going to start here at the headstock. So I've got my outboard spider, which, as I mentioned, is threaded into the inside of the spindle. The spindle has that 2.55 inch capacity, D16 cam lock spindle. We've got that 3-jaw chuck installed here. In terms of the controls, we've got 2 levers for speed control for the spindle. We've got the range here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Notice they're not in order here because of how the gears are oriented internally. And then we have low, medium, and high, plus we have a dedicated neutral, which is really nice. So we can spin the spindle freely in neutral. We can go into a gear range and then back into neutral. It's nice and defined, right? And so I use that all the time. We've got 36 RPM on the low side and 1800 RPM on the high side. Here we have our feed direction lever. Now I'll note, because we can change the feed direction on the carriage for the feeds, the only time I would need to go in reverse here is if I was doing left-hand threading. And then we have high and low for the feed ranges. And we have 3 levers down here, which also control feed. And then finally we have the shift lever here. So when we go to do a threading or a power feed, we have these different 5-digit or letter codes, essentially, that we look up here. So for feed, we have like LCT1W is the most fine feed. So we have L here, C, T, and then 1, and then W, if we were in that particular range. So it's just a matter of looking up the combination and then shifting the appropriate levers there. So that's these levers and these levers. We have on and off for the coolant. We have machine on, and if I flip the machine on here, we'll see that light up. We have the panic stop. We have the jog button, which I'm in neutral, so we didn't see any movement there. That pretty much covers the headstock side. I put on this little bracket here for my air, so that I have that there. Next, let's go over to the carriage. Okay, so the carriage has all of the controls. It's got the cross slide and it's got the compound slide. And what I really like about this machine is the capabilities, the finesse of the controls, and how well laid out things are. So first off, we've got one-shot lube. You pour oil in, you push on this 1 or 2 times, and it's going to lube pretty much everything you need to. You also need to hit the compound slide because it's not attached to that lube system. We've got the spindle direction, forward, use our brake here, reverse, and off in the middle, which is totally normal. Okay, so I'm going to run the spindle while I talk about some of this. Half nut lever, very, very smooth, very slick and short throw. Really awesome to use. We'll see that when I do the threading demo. Here we've got our transverse feed in the Z direction. If we have the feed lever out, and then we have the X feed if we push the lever to the left. So right is transverse, Z, in is X. And notice this, when we pull on this, it's going to reverse direction while the machine is running. And so I'll tend to use this for feed direction rather than the feed direction primary shifter, just because of the convenience there. We've got the saddle lock here. Everything is really nicely finished. The quality on all the dials is super awesome. The saddle is great on this machine. Okay, so the tailstock on this machine, absolutely massive and super, super slick. Very, very well aligned, which you'd see in the demo that we did of the quill alignment to the spindle. And very smooth control. We've got in-feed over here. You'll see I did a little bit of a modification here as an additional counterweight for the weight of the handle so that basically we can have a resting position and not have it auto feed. So that's just a little bit of something I did. I also installed the tailstock DRO so that I can monitor in feed. So we can go to a particular place, we can hit 0, we see that it's 0, and now we have the relative movement along the Z axis. Very, very handy. Again, Morris taper number 4, really smooth primary lock, and then the quill lock is also like kind of a quick acting, super slick lever there. So tailstock on this machine, definitely a winner. And finally, the base on the machine. So first off, we've got a massive cast iron base. We've got a really easy kind of slide out drawer for emptying the chips. You can see this is a working machine. That's just since our last clean out there. And then a really great brake. If we turn the machine on, it's also a safety mechanism. Stops the machine, and then we have to re-engage the lever to start it. So the base on this machine is the foundation. We've also got the coolant system that drains from the chip pan into the coolant pump, and that's something that you just get as a part of the machine. Okay, let's take a nice heavy cut on some steel. Does not even slow down. Wow. Next we'll clean up that face. Okay, so now that we've done some heavy duty work, let's switch over to some light duty work with some aluminum. Okay, so let's do a quick machining demo. I've got a bar of aluminum chucked up in 3-jaw chuck. I'm set for 3/1000 of an inch of feed. So I'm gonna go ahead and face this with this tool here. We'll just set this up to auto feed. Change our direction here, right on the fly, super nice. Okay, so facing is done. And so I'm gonna switch over to one of my favorite inserts of all time, the VNMG. So what we'll do is we'll turn the diameter down, and we'll turn a thread relief and then do some 16 thread per inch threading. Okay, so I'm gonna just go ahead and power feed. We're going the wrong direction there. Okay, so I've turned the OD down to where I want it. I'm just going to go ahead and cut a thread relief here. We're going to do 16 threads per inch. Why not on this? Go ahead and turn the shoulder. A little step here and nice chamfer. Okay. So we're going to move over to a threading tool. Shift levers for 16 threads per inch, LBS1V. Okay, that's it. Adjust our speed a little bit. The medium range, go all the way on that. Yeah, why not? That's going to be our 0. Take a trace. All right, now we'll infeed at 5 thou, take 5. So that gives you a quick idea of doing some turning, some facing, some threading. Obviously, we could do boring, a lot of different procedures we can do on a lathe, but this lathe runs awesome. So there you go. The PM-1660TL is an absolute ultra premium lathe. I personally feel like it represents greatest value for the dollar. You've got really high quality Taiwanese engineering and manufacturing. You've got Precision Matthews to help support you. They are a first-class company. They're going to help you through problems that you have. They're going to have spare parts that you're going to need. And again, there are the 3 different models, the PM-1440TL, the PM-1640TL, and the PM-1660TL, the big daddy that we've got here. Metric threading without gear swaps is absolutely awesome. Being able to shift in those metric gear ranges is really important, especially with some of these metric platforms like Howa, whether it be Vanguard and Tika becoming a lot more popular. It's something that you're going to have to think about, and this is a great time saver. Very, very heavy construction. You saw with our test numbers the level of ultra precision on this machine. Absolutely amazing. The 2.55 inch internal capacity on the spindle is also a game changer and is necessary for larger barrels and related gunsmithing work. But if you're running large stock, that's going to be an issue across the board for any type of machining activity. Very, very good support from Precision Matthews. Again, if you're looking for a gunsmithing lathe, the PM-1660TL or the PM-1640TL would both be absolutely awesome options. Check out our other videos. Like I said, we've got in-depth videos covering all of the lathes that we have from Precision Matthews, and it covers mild to wild. So what I'd like to know is, what do you think of the PM-1660TL? And are you running a Precision Matthews lathe? Which one is it? What are you using it for? If you have specific questions about which machine to buy, meet us in the comments section and we'll have a discussion there. That concludes this video, and that means it's time to wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're watching Ultimate Reloader on TV and want to take advantage of free resources, exclusives, and hot deals, just hold your camera phone up to the QR code, tap on the link, fill out the information, boom, you're getting Ultimate Reloader emails. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, where we've got unrestricted content, and Instagram. Make sure to follow us on all those channels. Ultimate Reloader also has a commercial solutions division serving law enforcement, the military, and the gun industry. We have some unique capabilities, including a comprehensive suite of recoil testing and evaluation capabilities, trigger profiling, and more. Thanks again for watching.